Good day to all viewers and listeners, especially to all the women out there. We would like to continue to wish you a happy Women's Month. As women forms the cornerstone of our families, communities, and society as a whole. As the Bible verse goes, blessed is she who has believed that the Lord would fulfill his promise to her. That's in Luke 1, verse 45. My name is James January, and I am the director and business advisor of an establishment called Bluepeers Praxis. We specialize in business law, corporate governance, mentoring, coaching of company directors. Our target market is small, medium-sized enterprises, which are mainly situated in the Boland, the Cape Winelands area. Please note, we are not a get quick rich scheme, but our establishment is based on 4 pillars to help directors. Over the years, we have established numerous entities, PTYs, that's private concerns, NPOs, non-profit organizations, business chambers, and agriculture organizations. Bluepeers is situated in Worcester, and our office is managed by Surika Williams, and our property portfolio is managed by a lady called Rolene Muller. We forged many partnerships with organizations, just to mention a few. One partner is Ayanda Makwela. He's a formidable lawyer, and his firm is Makwela Attorneys. We also have another partner with Koliswa Makadisi from Makadisi Financial Services, and Simone Krieger from SK Graphic and Web Design Services. And we also have a accounting partner, which is NLT and Sons Investments. That is a short and brief introduction of Bluepeers. Today, I will be interviewing a ERM specialist, or part of her duties is ERM and risk. Ms. Nangamso Sigwela, a lady who knows the ins and outs of business risk, cost of risk. She will also make it clear to SMMEs what the difference are between operational risk and residual and inherent risk, and how the cost of risk affects small business. Ms. Sigwela will also inspire young Black women out there to venture into ERM and risk as a job, you know. So she is the specialist. She will give us that background, and she will also give us a brief background of herself in terms of where she's coming from and what's qualifications and so forth in a family. Over to you, Mrs. Nangamso Sigwela.
Good afternoon, James. Thank you very much for having me, and also good afternoon to all the viewers and the listeners out there. Thank you so much again for having me. I take it as a privilege, you know, and for me, it's the first time being live, so I do not take this opportunity very lightly, as I believe there might be somebody out there who may be looking for that encouragement, especially on the women's side, because it's Women's Month, to say, you know, take that step. You can do this thing. It's not difficult. It's not rocket science and so forth. So I thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this interview. Just a bit of background about me. I am coming from I was born in the Eastern Cape. I did my primary school in the former Ciskei in Middledrift, and I moved to Uitenhage to do my high school. And when I was ready to move to university, I thought maybe Cape Town would be a great place to be, you know. And then I was accepted at CPUT. It used to be Peninsula Technikon back then. And I pursued a qualification of internal auditing, and I further on went to do my BTech in internal audit at CPUT. That's just a bit of my background in terms of where I come from and qualification-wise. Yes.
Thank you very much, Nangamso or Nangamso. Tell me about your family, your husband, your kids. How many kids do you have? What your husband is doing, and so forth.
All right. I am married for it's been 18 years now to the love of my life. I call him. Um, my husband and I have got three daughters and a son. Ages varying between 20, 15, 9, and 19 months. So my husband is a pastor. And just for it to be noted, I'm a born again Christian. I love God with all of my heart. My life has never been the same ever since I gave my life completely to the Lord for Him to be the Lord and Savior of my life and to steer the direction of my life. So that is who I am, and supporting Him as the minister of the gospel. And in that journey of that 18-year journey of supporting Him, I've also realized that God has also not only called me to be a helpmate to Him, but also He has called me to be a mother to the motherless, because as you welcome people at church, some are broken, and some are indeed biologically motherless, and so I come in that space as a mother to nurture and to guide and to disciple, particularly on the women's side in the church. So that has been the past 18 years, and we continue until we are called by the Lord to be with Him. So that is what I do on the other side besides my 8 to 5 job. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful! Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All strength and all honor and glory to the Lord for choosing your husband to be a pastor, to leading communities. That is wonderful to know. And it is also wonderful for him to have a wonderful lady like you to support him. So thank you very much for that information. Um, what are your current job and what are you currently doing? Here we would like to know about your work and the position that you are occupying.
Um, in terms of qualification, I am qualified as an internal auditor. But after a number of years doing internal audit, I thought I can move on and do other job related to other jobs related to internal audit, and I got an opportunity in the risk management field. So at the moment, I am a performance and risk manager for the Cape Winelands District Municipality that is based in Stellenbosch. And in terms of my job role, I am responsible to ensure that risk management is embedded within the organization, as well as fraud prevention mechanisms and management, and also looking at municipal performance, organizational performance, to ensure that whatever we've set out to do at the beginning of the financial year, we actually monitor it on a ongoing basis to ensure that if there are any gaps throughout the year, we manage it very well so as to achieve that which we want to achieve by the end of the financial year.
All right, that's wonderful. It's quite a mouthful. It's quite a hefty job that you have, different portfolios within one position. So that can be very hectic. So I hope you keep your head and all the numbers and everything together for the municipality, because we need the municipality to function. Okay. So thank you very much. Out of all this which you've mentioned and the work that you are doing, what do you find most rewarding about being in the risk management space?
Um, you know, being a risk manager or a risk practitioner, you get to speak to everybody, from the executive to the sweeper, because there are executive decisions that must be made, and in the process of making decisions, management need to make sure that they are making the right decisions. And on the other hand, one has got to understand what the very lowest member of, or let me not say lowest, but the even the sweeper in the municipality is very important, because without them we cannot be doing risk management and still running around to do sweeping. But they also play a very vital role to ensuring that we work in a clean environment. And so being a risk practitioner or a risk manager within the municipality has enabled me to forge relationships with all levels of employees. And sometimes you would find in organizations that the most heard people are the middle management and executives, but the ones below them, they are not listened to so much. So sitting and engaging with them, trying to get to the bottom of things, enables me to have a holistic view of what is going on in the organization. I think in the first few months where I started working, as I was trying to understand the whole business of Cape Winelands District Municipality, I started off by introducing myself and meeting people who are newly appointed in the municipality, and making presentations to put myself out there so that I can be known. Because some people may spot risk but shy away from sharing them with their managers because of fear of victimization and those things. And even when you look at issues of fraud, some people may not want to blow the whistle because they are scared that they may lose their jobs. But as a risk practitioner, it has enabled me to speak to all levels of the organization, and also to see what's going on from administration to technical services, community development to finance, the office of the municipal manager, the looking at some of the documents that go to the mayor, to the various stakeholders within, to the various stakeholders that are involved with our district municipality. So it's gotten me to meet a vast number of people, and also to understand the business of the municipality far better than when I started working there.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's wonderful to know that with your job as a risk specialist, that everybody is important to you. Everybody, you've got a hand in all departments. If I can think about the situation, like currently we've got COVID. We have the top management and middle management that makes strategic decisions within the organization. But we also have our general workers, the cleaners and so forth, who must ensure that certain things needs to be done. Uh, Offices needs to be clean, operational areas needs to be cleaned up. So everybody in the organization is therefore then very important. Thank you very much for informing about this, letting us know that your job is not to on performance management and looking at the top managers, but also to look at the lower ranks of the workers. Thank you very much for that information. Um, Nangamso, I would like to ask you, what is your strength as a mother? I quickly just want to go back to you as a mother, because it's important. It's Women's Month, and the whole focus needs to be on the strength of our woman. So what is your strength as a mother, a wife, and also as a religious person, as a religious woman? What is your strength?
It's quite amazing because I know my children would tell you something different, but I think as a mother, my inherent strength given by God is to nurture. I'm a nurturer, and my children would tell you that in the house I'm the disciplinarian. I make sure that children do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do, because without the proper guidance, they may lose direction, and it is my responsibility, as we do it together with my husband, that um, I know how girls behave. I know when they're cutting corners. So definitely for me, I will quickly see those red flags in their lives when one is getting out of line. So I'll bring them back in line, and also bringing through to them the scripture, because the Bible says we must train the children in the ways of the Lord. So it is my responsibility as a parent, together with my husband as well, and also teaching my children to use their time and even the money that they receive from us or from uncles or whoever gives them money in a very wise way, and not receive money to use it immediately. From a young age, I teach them that you can enjoy a bit of it, but you can put uh, other money away, and let that be a habit as you grow up, and you'll see what that will do for you as a growing person, as you continue with life. And with regards to being a wife, my strength, I believe I'm a suitable helpmate to my husband. We know the story of God bringing or presenting Eve to Adam, being a suitable helpmate to him. So I believe I am that suitable helpmate to my husband, because I support him. He's got a vision for our family. He's got a vision for ministry, and my responsibility there in that space is to support him in achieving those goals and plans, and also sharing my life. I've shared my life with him for 18 years now, and I have no regrets. And I often tell him that I'm ready to go in grave with him. So I believe that is a strength, because I don't see myself as a selfish person. I'm a sharing person, and he definitely agree with me that I've shared my life with him without hesitation for the past 18 years. And on the religious side, um, I've mentioned earlier that people come to church. Some are broken. Some have never received hugs from their mother. They've never received compliments. We cannot ignore the fact that families are not the same. There are what we call broken families, and families keep on breaking as we speak. So I believe that my role in the church is to be a mother. I often tell my children, I don't know whether I'm speaking prophetically when I say this to them, that I'm the mother of nations. And I teach, I focus more on young ladies to help them with identity, because when one is coming from a broken family, most of the time identity is broken, and someone may be coming from a very messed up environment, and they may think that is the normal way of living life. So for me, it is to bring back the identity that one receives when they come into contact with the Lord, and also to inculcate values, Christian values, and discipline when one is in church, and also not just in church, as they live life, because the Bible tells us that we are the salt of the world. So when they come with their brokenness, they I would teach them on how to walk a journey of
Okay,
salvation and that kind of thing. And
amazing. Uh, Nangamso,
yes, James.
Nangamso, Nan-
Yes,
Nangamso,
I
can you hear
can.
me?
I can. Now I've lost you. I've lost you now. I can't hear you. Are you still there, James? Okay. So I was also saying that my role is basically in the church is to empower. I can't hear you.
Okay, now you can continue. You can
Okay,
continue.
all right. I was saying that my other role is
Yes, yes, I'm
okay,
still
great.
here.
My other role is to empower women. I've been married for 18 years, as I've mentioned, and I've had my peaks and highs. And even though I have no regrets, if I were to marry the same man, I would do it without hesitation. But I empower women who want to get married to help them understand
We
what. There seems to be a break, James. I can't hear you very well. Okay. So I help empower women with women that want to get married, sit them down and be open and brutally honest with them as to what to expect. And also those who are married, would help them, because I mean, marriages go into seasons, and so helping them to cope when the different seasons change in their marriages.
okay. I'm sorry. We had some glitches now, but I
Okay,
think it's okay. You can continue.
all right. Can you hear me now, James? Okay, and I also empower women in terms of ensuring that um, they utilize the God-given skills within them, and encourage them to pursue business, because it's not always easy to get employment out there. So if one is able to,
Yes, yes. Thank you.
so
You can continue. It's fine. And
okay, so I would encourage them to pursue business opportunities while they are waiting for that ideal job. And yeah, so that is what I do in the church, to ensure that women are taught to be accountable and not be living in their own corners and doing their own thing without thinking that they should be accountable to someone. So it's really raising a generation of responsible, godly women out there.
We're back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you,
Yeah,
James.
we
There was a bit of a delay there.
yeah, we've lost connection there for a few seconds. Thank you very much. I also
Uh-huh.
your husband. He also sent a message that he said, "Yes, I agree with you 100%." So there you have this
Wow,
family. Yes, he said
beautiful.
no, he agrees with you. So he concurs everything that you said, the strengths
Uh,
that you mentioned, that you are this woman. He concurs. He confirmed that
wow,
it's like
beautiful.
that. Thank you very much to him for tuning in. Uh,
Awesome.
Nangamso, what advice
Yes,
can
yes.
you give to small businesses on ERM or risk management related issues? What must they put in place to ensure they are compliant? What are the basic principles of those risk management? Only those basic stuff like your basic enterprise risk management and so forth.
Okay. For small to medium enterprises, I would say risk management is key to your businesses. The reason I'm saying so is that it allows you as a or allows the organization to identify those areas where there could be um, where you where there could be events that would impede the achievement of your of objectives. You know, for an easier example is COVID-19. No one ever, I think there's no one who has foreseen this thing coming. For as long as I've lived, I've never heard of such a pandemic where people lose jobs, organizations are held at gunpoint, if I can put it that way, where certain sectors are closed completely. They don't reach their goals. For example, a let me use a um, wine or alcohol makers, if I can put it that way. They have been stopped due to COVID-19 not to distribute their alcohol. Now imagine they had plans to achieve so many millions in terms of their revenue by the end of their financial year. And COVID came, and all of those plans have been swept away. So the key that risk management brings to an organization is more like a eyes at the back of your head, basically alerting you to those things that would impede the achievement of your goals, and also certain things you cannot prevent. For example, there's no way that we could have prevented the effects or the impact of COVID-19, but there are certain things that organizations can put in place to deal with these kind of situations. For example, a response to possible pandemics would be insurance, for an example. You decide because there is nothing you can do to prevent it, but you outsource the effects of it to insurance and so forth. So I think there is a lot of benefits that organizations would realize with embedding risk management. One of them would be it will be easy to spot projects falling behind, because in any project that is being rolled out, there are certain milestones that are supposed to be reached by a certain time. And should the project manager or those involved in the project see that there is a bit of delay, for example, if there's interdependencies with other departments or supply chain and that kind of thing, and there's delays in the supply chain process, then those would be your red flags that would sort of alert you to a possible event not happening, which will impede the achievement of your objectives. And also, you will have fewer surprises if risk management is embedded in your organization. So Not to say that you will not have surprises, but there will definitely be fewer. And also, the quality of information to make decision will be better, as opposed to when risk management is not in place. And also you get your team to be focused on the goal. And and also you are able to escalate things easier and quicker because risk management is in place. You've got your controls in place and your red flags when things are not happening. And I promise you, if risk management is institutionalized in any organization, results will be better. Yeah. And
Yes. Okay, you can continue.
okay, just touching on some basics of risk management, I think it is key that it's key to note that organizations are not the same. Capacity in organization is not the same. So, but I think having basics in place would definitely be beneficial to any organization. Having basic risk management principles in place and functioning in the organization would yield promising results to the organization. For an example, risk assessments or identifying your risks and assessing the impact of a risk in the organization, the likelihood of occurrence, and also putting responses, whether you are deciding to mitigate those risks by putting certain controls in place to minimize the impact of the risk to the organization. You can also decide to avoid the risk depending on what the risk is. That's also a response. You can also transfer the risk by maybe insurance and so forth. And also key is to manage the risk, ensuring that on a continuous basis we monitor how strong our controls are to respond to the risks that have been identified. And we can never put a time frame in terms of how often we monitor our risk, because we're living in ever-changing times. So we've got to be very proactive and manage our risk on a day-to-day basis, and not wait for the end of the quarter to review our risk registers and so forth. So as we do business, we keep on having that thing at the back of our minds that we need to be conscious of what's happening. Are we still okay? And that is why a risk management practitioner should sit in executive management meetings, because that is where you provide the advice. That is where you alert them to certain trends that are going around, and bringing that value to the organization, as to what to look out for and what opportunities to take advantage of within the organization. So basically, those are things I would like to mention as being benefits and basic principles of risk management. And as the organization grows, then you can improve the risk management process by involving many other people. For example, in our organization, we have risk champions, which are individuals within the business units who sort of become my extended hands, who are very close to the business, who see things quicker than I would, and so they assist their managers in better decision making before I even see those things. So which further is beneficial for the organization, because if I were to leave, at least a risk champion is there in each and every department, and then there's continuity in that space if one were to leave for greener pastures or whatever reason they would leave. So and there's many other things that can be done in organization to enhance the risk management process within the organization. But the message I want us to take home is risk management is necessary. It's very necessary to to advising management in terms of watching out for the red flags and managing them and strengthening the control environment within the organization so as to prevent surprises that may be very harmful to the organization.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's wonderful to know that because, small businesses, according to them, risk. Uh, it's not, especially enterprise risk is not for them. Most of them, they look at operational risk. That's it. It stopped at operational risk, and that's it. We as long as we can do the job, you know. Now, COVID also it enlightened us that you must not only look at operational risk, you also need to look at your enterprise risk. As you mentioned, you need to make a provision for the unforeseen. And some of our small business has been found, not guilty, but they did not even uh, 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 register the employees for COIDA and so forth. And now when they apply for the UIF, they are not registered, And you mentioned that small businesses needs to ensure that their insurance are on track, and that their workers are well covered, so that in the event of eventuality where something happens which are out of their hands, they need to have that coverage. Thank you very much for that information. It's valuable information which small businesses can use and implement in their businesses, and to ensure that they are up and running in areas where there is a disaster like now in COVID times. Thank you very much for that one. um, Nangamso, is what advice and encouragement can you give to women, especially the young black child out there, and especially as we enter into this is the Women's Month, and we would like to bring encouragement to those young ladies out there, to encourage them that everything is not just gloomy, and doom, so what other encouragement can you bring as a pastor's wife, as a Christian? What other advice can you also give to them?
Being a child of God, I have learned that nothing is impossible with God, and Jesus is my anchor,
Yes.
and that is my true confession that I hold on to in stormy seasons, because life is not all summery. Winter comes, autumn, and other seasons, just like we see it outside. So even as we see now in the current with the current situation of COVID, how it has affected us, whether we are infected or affected. Definitely, all of us are either infected or affected, either way. And so, for me, what has been my key scripture in this day is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10, that says, "Be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power." In stormy seasons, I lose strength. In challenging times, sometimes it's difficult for me to pray. But the one thing, the seed of faith has been planted in my heart, and I look to God for answers. I make time to trust. I make time to pray, and my key for me, I often say, I must watch what I say. My confession. Remember, the Bible says that there's power in the tongue. So when I, whether it is in prayer, in my private space, or I'm talking to somebody, the one thing I must make sure is bringing forth um, um, the encouragement of hope, and also the fact that I draw my strength from God. Jesus is my anchor. and storms and winds and rainy, heavy storms and hail will come my way, because those kind of things, those kind of situations, they bring me closer to God. They allow me, they push me to seek Him further and even more. And so in these trying times, because I know um, everyone is affected. When, in fact, even before you are tried and find yourself in stormy weather, for stormy and rainy situations, you must find strength in God, because He is the strength of our lives, and we can do nothing without Him as His children. So, to the black child, I would say risk management is a qualification that a woman can do. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It is a very fulfilling role. I believe that if you have been in the internal audit or in the auditing space, um, a progression in terms of career would be, I believe, would be risk management, because everything that you've learned in audit, whether in practice or in theory, is very much applicable when you're doing risk management. And the other thing that's satisfying about it is you bring value to the organization. To the woman out there during Women's Month, I'd like to say, because God has created us to be nurturers, we become, when you pursue a career in risk management, you become a support, a nurturer for the organization, and it's definitely not a difficult thing, but it requires you to be assertive and not be scared of those who may want to pull you down. You just need to be resilient, and with God, He can give you that. He can give you that strength, because He prepares your hands for war. So if there are war situations, He will enable you to overcome. So for to women, this Women's Month, I would like to say there is a great career in risk management, and give it a try and see. And if you struggle, touch base with those in the field. You can talk to me. I've been in the space for more than 10 years, so it's definitely doable. I have no regrets that I've chosen a career in risk management, and even more so in government, because there's value to be provided when you working in government. Not to say in the private sector you cannot provide value, but there's more work that needs to be done in the public sector. So if you want to provide value, you want to make a difference, I would say risk management is the space.
Right. Oh, thank you very much, Nangamso. Thank you very much for availing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
uh, for sharing that information with the viewers out there. Um, we don't worry about the present viewers, because we will share the video afterwards, and then for learnings, people will look at the video and then just go over it and just check the advice that you've been given. So thank you very much for making yourself available, and thank you very much for Pastor for letting you do this interview. It's family time, so I just want to thank you very much. Thank you very much. God bless you, and have a
Thank you
wonderful
so much for the
afternoon.
opportunity again, James. I really appreciate this time. It is really not time wasted. And my husband, he was quite happy that I got this opportunity to share what I do, and
Yes.
I do not take it lightly. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And may God
Thank you.
bless you and your family, and also your business and your partners and your clients as well. May they
Yes.
think differently in terms of risk management, and they will see that there's value that it brings. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.